96k BTC, we hit all-time highs again. The things are absolutely moving out there, but these altcoins are a little bit slow. And what are we going to do with these altcoins? When are these alts going to start ripping the way we think they should? So today I've got a guest for you talking indicators and things like that. We're discussing these altcoins and when I think we are going to get some moves and obviously some amazing altcoin setups for you guys. It's Monday. Let's get right into it. And remember, this is the new channel, Crypto Live. You normally see me Monday to Friday on Banter Plus. So make sure you hit that like, you hit the subscribe. And if you want to find me on Tuesday to Friday now, you can catch me on Crypto Banter Plus. That is where we're going to be. You guys know this, man. Unless you are new, there's the Rainbow Rays in the house. And here's our special indicator guest, straight out of Chart Hackers as well. He's a little bit ill today, but we're gonna support him. We will look after you. We'll carry you through. He's got a couple of setups for us, so we're going to bring him in hot as soon as the like bouncer is obviously satisfied with the current conditions. Now, let's go straight into Banter Bubbles. You can see this virtual is ripping again. Now, there's rumors of listings and things like that happening at the moment. So maybe they're pricing all these listing in now because, I mean, we've seen all these tokens pump on listing. So now the rumors start coming and then what actually happens. And then XRP, there was, I believe, a stable coin coming out with XRP. Rune seems to be running nicely with the BTC strength at the moment. We know it's always a nice banger when there is some BTC strength. So that is looking pretty decent from that side. And then what we have picked up in the short term is a couple of 1 hour setups where we might be getting short-term bounces on some of these altcoins. And then we're going to talk, where are we on the 4 hour, the 8 hour, the daily? Is it time to start screaming alt season again? Is it time to start looking for some big moves? So we're going to take a look at those in a sec. Let's just see where we are with BTC. Fuck, this is so beautiful. Right now, BTC just constantly ripping all-time highs here. Here we go. And we can see earlier today, we had a nice little dip. And the chart I dropped in Chart Hackers earlier today, we were just looking for a bounce here at this 236 fib. And they've dipped into the 236 at 104K. And they hit our previous all-time highs. That was our support bounce. And now a little bit of a rocket ship for us. So support we can use right now, realistically, without getting too aggressive. 104, 100. That's going to be your main level that you want to be watching now today. 104, 100. We can't do much higher than that right now without being absolutely reckless. So 104, 100 is what we're going to watch. Then a little bit lower down, we've got a beautiful VWAP here at 102, 800, tied in with some horizontals and trends. So that's a proper banger. And based on the nature of this, look, I'm not expecting too much more downside now today. I mean, things are looking pretty good out there. And we know we've had Uncle Donald saying relatively bullish things with regards to Bitcoin and crypto in general. And I think the market is kind of enjoying that ride at the moment. So upside target for me, it's going to be that 113. And I'm going to show you that 113 on our 3-day chart quickly, just so you can see where we are. This is our Bitcoin 3-day chart. The 113,900 is the 2618 fib. We've been watching this thing for probably a month now. We've been tracking this one as a possible target for BTC, and the process has been the same. We just wanted to see this, the higher lows keep printing and a nice little pop here through the horizontals. That is now happening for us. We got a beautiful candle close on that 3-day above the 99 zone, and that told us that things were looking relatively bullish now leading into this week. So nice little push on BTC and 113,900. Let's see if we can get that this week. That will be an absolute banger there for us. But right now, support on the 3-day, 99K, then a little bit lower, 92,900. That's going to be your big levels that you want to watch now to the downside if things start falling over. This is the bigger picture stuff that we can keep our eyes on. Now, before we bring in the gang, let's just see what's going on here with a little bit of the news. I don't have tons for you guys today. I've got so many charts and so much alpha, so I thought we got to really get stuck into that stuff. But we see the Chinese central bank, they inject 753 billion won via 7-day reverse repos at 1.5%. That's a ton, okay? And we know there's been rumors in the market that they've been pushing their side of things and that they were moving into quite a loose monetary policy there. So they are really injecting liquidity in their market. That is naturally bullish for us. And then this, I'm still undecided on if we're super bullish on this or not. But Michael Saylor keeps buying BTC. Now, the man is not stopping at the moment. And obviously, this is helping with bullish sentiment and things at the moment. But what happens when he stops buying, Ray? I mean, are we bullish on this? Are we bullish on this situation?
I mean, it's bullish. The chart's screaming.
Well, he's shouting at us. He's telling us more green dots are coming. So he's not even stopping here. So the market's obviously jumping on the bandwagon. All these green dots are when he's buying BTC. And he's telling us there's more coming. I mean, the guy's super aggressive here at the moment. And maybe he's like this guy. You know, maybe how much Bitcoin does this guy have? And maybe Sailor walks around like that. Chaos, are you okay there?
He's building that floor.
This guy does not have enough Bitcoin. I just want to say that.
Okay, let's go. Let's talk. Chaos, are you okay there, sir? How are you feeling?
Man. I'm good. I've got it for the next hour. Don't worry. We're good.
Okay, I'm going to bring you on when we get into Sol. I'm bringing Chaos on when we're talking Solana. Then he's got 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏. He's got Myro. What else do you have for us?
Myro, Casper, Phantom Soul, and 𝗬𝗢𝗏.
Okay, bangers. Casper as well. We gave a 1 hour reversal long in Chart Hackers earlier today, and we're gonna see if Chaos agrees with that current setup. Okay, let's look at a couple of alt season things. And this was interesting to me. Aporia is basically telling us that alt season basically happens from January to May. So maybe we are a little bit early. And some of the tokens that I'm looking at the moment are telling me that there might be one more dump before we get these pumps. So we've seen on some of these altcoins, we've got short time frame reversals, 1 hour reversals, but where are we on the 4, 8, 12 and daily on a lot of these alts? And a lot of these alts tell me that we might have to fall over a little bit more before we get some serious pumpage. So that might tie in to this guy's theory that January to May is the real alt season. And he's talking about ETH in particular, but he says ETH earns about twice Bitcoin's positive return on average during January to May. When Bitcoin falls, ETH holds steady during these periods. So he's locking in January to May. And look, that is around the corner. We're talking 2 weeks away here. So maybe one more flush out potentially for us. And if we take a look at our altcoin season chart that we love looking at, you can see we had altcoin season for 3 days, according to this chart. Now this has fallen over. And fortunately, yes, sir.
Horrible. It's a horrible chart.
It was short-lived. It was a short-lived fantasy, but we all enjoyed those rides. The ride with the altcoins, there was max pumpage from all the way down here, all the way to the highs. We were happy anyway. But now, fortunately, Bitcoin is pumping. So it's okay. If this altcoin season chart wants to dip lower while Bitcoin is pumping, we're actually okay with that. It's the minute Bitcoin stabilizes at a certain level, starts ranging, then these alts are going to start ripping again, and we are going to be good. And BQN data says Trump 20K candle incoming. Yeah, I mean, it could be. And NZ Danny wants some green candles. Look, I'd appreciate a couple of green candles on some of these longs that we've jumped into earlier today. So that will be pleasant. But just finishing on this chart, if Bitcoin is pumping, this altcoin season indicator can push lower. We'll be super satisfied with that. It's totally fine. We just want a ranging BTC, and then these alts should start playing catch up. Now, this ETH BTC chart on the weekly, and I mean, this has really been something of patience here, watching this setup. But is this finally going to start playing out for us? This was the second bounce that I was looking for on ETH BTC. So we had our original move off that the macro trend. Then we bumped into the resistance band, and we were saying a couple of weeks ago, this is on the table here for us with ETH. Are we going to get this dip into the major weekly level here? This is a monthly level for us as well at this 0.29 region before we get the real alt season push, before we get the real move. And right now, this is still technically in play. We haven't broken through our resistance band just yet, and this is now still on the table for us until proven otherwise. And then this also ties in quite nicely with our total 3 chart. Now remember, total 3 is the entire market excluding Bitcoin and ETH. So this is a look at all the other shitcoins out there, and we can see total 3 is still not breaking the high. So we've taken out our highs from the November 21 bull. You can see we printed new highs, but now we are drifting lower. We had that rejection, and we are technically now in this downtrend until proven otherwise. So until we start breaking these highs here, we can't get that aggressive on the market at the moment. So playing a little bit safe, but what we need to watch, 950 billion, that is going to be our support marker that I like on the total 3. So as long as we're holding that, we should be okay. There shouldn't be too much damage on some of these altcoins. If we start losing these levels, then these alts, they're all printing new lows, in my opinion, and we're going to feel a lot of pain there leading into January. So just something to keep our eyes on. And then this is the banger. Okay, this is Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. And this is, I use this a lot to tell me when we're going to get a bounce on some of these altcoins or where we can get a reaction on some of these altcoins. And you can see what is going on here. This is dominance on the weekly, bouncing off our major weekly support band. That was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, strong bounce there. And remember, we had a beautiful ride on these altcoins all the way down. And now we have seen these altcoins are turning a little bit more bearish. Now we can see the dominance is pushing into a major resistance band at the moment. So if we can reject at this 58.6, that is where I expect these alts to unlock a little bit. And that is where I expect these alts to start pushing a little bit higher. So we're going to be watching this closely. The 58.6 is quite a big resistance band. It's the weekly macro trend. It's the weekly horizontals. It's the 50-day MA and it's the 100-day MA. So we know that's a massive zone for us to crack. And we don't really want to break through there. If we break through there, that's pretty bearish on the altcoin. So remember, we want to see this coming down to make sure that we are bullish on our altcoins. And I just want to flip this over for you again, just to show you guys if this was a bullish breakout. For example, we'd be looking at this, some kind of retest here on the charts. Look at that beautiful retest and then some kind of pump. So we are still bullish on alts, provided we are going to reject in that type of region. Then I think we are going to be okay on some of these altcoins, and some of these entries we're going to be looking at today could start playing out for us. Now, a couple of things on ETH. Now, we still haven't broken new highs on ETH, but we know there's renewed interest on ETH. We know everybody's all chasing ETH and some ETH DeFi plays and things like that. And 9 straight days of ETH ETF inflows, with the latest showing 167 million net buying. Okay, these guys are relentless. They are buying tons of ETH, but right now, this hasn't changed. This has been the same look for us since we hit the highs on the 6th of December. So we are 10 days in, and we are still looking at a potential downtrend here on ETH until we start blowing these type of highs. So until we start printing new highs on ETH for the year, we need to understand that we could be in this typical situation now on ETH where we are looking at lower levels. Now, one of the clues for me that could be a sign that we are going to get an ETH breakout is going to be this oscillator that I'm using, the chart prime oscillator. You can see what's going on here. We do have a downtrend currently on our oscillator, but if we start breaking this trend on the oscillator, that is going to be a sign for us that ETH is potentially turning super bullish again, and then we might get that breakout that we are looking at. So the oscillator did give us that bearish divergence. We had a small little pullback, but now it is looking to turn a little bit more bullish again. So the minute we get that break on this oscillator, I'm going to flip bullish again on ETH, and then we're going to start re-looking at things. So just important levels here for us to watch on ETH. 3,680, that is going to be a hot zone for us. 3,680, that's a big one. Then 3,420, that is our next big one that we're going to watch to the downside. And when do we flip bullish? Well, I want to see a big, thick green candle through these highs, 4,080. Let's crack that. And then we're going to be using 4,000 or 3,950 as our support. And we're looking at a big trade then to 4,500 or 4,600 for ETH. Now, if ETH is pushing 4,500, 4,600, imagine what some of these other altcoins are going to be doing. They're going to be doing big percentage numbers there. They're going to be doing 20, 25%. Imagine what some of these meme coins are going to do when ETH starts waking up again. So interesting times for ETH. Let's see if we can push through on that one. And then I've got Chaos here specifically to talk a bit of Sol with us. Now, this is Sol on the 12th hour. We all know the weekly levels on Sol. We know Sol has been sort of floating around for 3-4 weeks now after pinging those beautiful highs. And our main levels on Sol on the weekly chart are 200, 190, and I think it was 175, give or take, somewhere in those areas. Those are our big weekly levels. But what do we do on slightly lower time frames? How do we deal with these types of things? So if you guys were watching last week, you would have noted that we were looking at shorts on Sol at the 240 zone. Now, we had the VWAP, we had the 618, we had a lot in the way, and that actually front ran our area quite a bit there on Sol, but just gave us that VWAP rejection there and started sending it down. So interesting to me on Sol at the moment, it is technically looking a little bit bearish. We are in this wedge pushing to the downside. And what are our options here right now? Well, number one, we can see the lows are this 195 zone. Okay, that looks interesting to us to the downside. And then the upside, we do have a little bit of trouble in the way. 222, that is a big one for me. And then our trend at about 228. So right now, you know, not super bullish on Sol until we start breaking out of this this bearish trend at the moment. So I want to hear what Chaos has to say here. I want to hear the magic tricks that he has up his sleeve. And let's see what you got here.
Yo,
Captain.
Hello. Okay. Sorry if I sound different, everybody. I've got Sol ready for you. if you want to bring
You
me up.
sound fresh. You sound fresh.
Deep voice, man, deep voice. Okay, so just really quickly, just in case anyone doesn't know, whilst you were talking, you just mentioned about big, thick green candles, right?
Yes,
I just
sir.
dropped in Chart Hackers in a minute. Take a look at XRP. Whilst we're live, I've given them a chart, a 9% candle. But I'll come on to that in a second. Okay, here we go.
Has it ripped already? Are we too late?
Yeah,
Are we too
yeah.
late?
Well, we are a bit, but the guys in Hackers got it before I got to talk about it on here. Okay, cool. So, descending channel currently. Excuse me. What I'm basically seeing using Chart Prime is obviously we've been in this real lovely green uptrend. Okay, we've been using the quantum reactor, and what's happened is it's kind of got to the point where it's flattening off a little bit. We've lost the green. Now, one of the things that happens is when you sort of get a green trade, it goes gray, and then you get some red and some downside. Okay, so what I'm essentially looking to do is to see the quantum reactor actually change to red, potentially give us something along these lines for now. And this will all take place whilst what I see happening is another dip down to the bottom of this channel around the 190 mark. And that lines up perfectly with what we've got going on just here. If you look at the RSI and the cash flow wave. So this to me is what I project. At this point, this will level off and then go green, and then we can carry on.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's a trend continuation there down that channel. It's not something we really want to see. But okay, so Chaos is giving us the juice down to 190, you said. Okay, so let's just look at this. Let's just look at this quickly on my chart just to break down where we are again. So what can we look out for? We know we are in the middle of a short-term bounce now with Solana. We can see that. We've had a bounce off the 618. And look, uncanny. I mean, all of these altcoins, they're reacting off simple things like fibs. Once again, you know, TA doesn't have to be difficult. It's very simple stuff. A little 618 bounce here. We're just timing a couple of moves. And you can see that 12-hour pushing down, exactly what Chaos is telling you guys. And if we're following that trend, well, how do we get there? So if we do get a short-term bounce here, look at this 222 zone. This is a previous VWAP. It's our horizontals as well. And it's our 382 bounce fib. So 222 is now resistance for us. So you can see 222 was support for us previously. We've lost it. We've lost it again. And now this is a resistance zone for us. So the most likely scenario here, unless we get some really aggressive alt move at the moment, is to look for some kind of rejection at 222. And then we start looking at potentially lower levels on Sol. Now, we can obviously flip bullish if we need to. And when we need to, we can react accordingly. So anybody who's got an entry off the 618, for example, 214, and you are holding this thing, you just want to make sure your stop is at entry or you are safe at the moment. Because what happens here, if we get a guard candle out of some of these altcoins and we start holding 222, 223, yes, we can start turning bullish again and we start chasing that 240 target there for Sol before we get too bearish again. So right now, let's break 222. If we don't, I think we're in a little bit of danger to the downside. Yes, sir.
I was looking to break 222 on the likes, guys. So we're on a new channel. People don't know that we're here.
Guys, welcome to the new
smash the
channel.
likes to let people know
If you
we're
enjoy
here.
the content, hit the like, hit the bell. If you want to see tons more of it, obviously, you're going to see Crypto Live here. All of the hosts from Banter are going to be having a once a week. We're going to be appearing on this channel. So you're going to get a nice mix from Run, Kyle, Sheldon, myself, Fefe. You're going to see all of us once a week on this channel. But our home base, or my home base, is Banter Plus, and that is where you can generally find me. But make sure you are subscribed to both, because this is also a live channel, and soon you are going to see Chart Hackers live trading taking place, and that is going to be at surprise times. You're not going to be notified. You're going to have to, there you go. You're going to have to get your notifications on, because we're just going to appear and we're going to be live trading for you guys. Okay. So make sure you are subscribed, make sure your notifications are on, and you're going to catch us on days when we literally just trading. Okay, there's going to be no news, no stories. We're going to be trading live for you guys and keeping things fun. Okay, so Sol, you've got the story. 222, let's break that. If we do, a little bit more bullish. If we break the trend, even more bullish. Until we do that, a little bit bearish there for us. Okay, I think that sums up Solana fairly decently. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of trades that are going on. Sui, anyone who's been trading Sui with me, I've added to it twice now. So there was a dip on Saturday and I had a limit order waiting, picked up that limit order on Sui. So now that position is 53,800 plus $8,000. So it's $61,000 Sui position now. And looking at this chart on my screen, it's pretty tight, but ideally we want this one to hold. If Subi's going to stay bullish here for me, obviously looking for bigger things, looking for 15, 20, those types of levels. Hopefully this entry can hold for us. Let's see. Okay, we're going to look at the SUI chart in a second. Brett, no changes. My head short is running. My long is running. Injective head short, and I increased the size of this head short this weekend, and it actually started really printing at one point, but I'm going to leave the short open for now. You can see at the moment we're getting paid to hold shorts open. They're actually giving us money if we are sitting in shorts. And there's a render long that I've taken also from this weekend. Nice little bounce zone. And look, it's relatively flat. Whiff was a long I gave in Chart Hackers about 2 hours ago. Chart Hacker long we gave on Whiff. Pepe, that's an old trade. AVAX, I gave a Chart Hackers long on AVAX as well. This is an old AVAX trade. I've got a new one that I've opened in WEX. And there's Sol. Okay, so Sol, long and short, still running at the moment. So not much else to report at the moment. Had a nice phantom trade this weekend that we also closed with a little bit of a profit there. Some news in the area. Okay, Ivan on Tech is saying this news from Trump 2 days ago. This was on the 14th of December. He confirms Bitcoin reserve plans, 15 trillion price boom predicted. I mean, if that's not bullish for the market, fuck, I don't know what is. Okay, the market is loving this. And then there's also this thing. Okay, we know World Liberty Financial, they're driving the whole DeFi narrative. They're driving the whole market at the moment with tons of stuff. And people are having fun tracking their wallets. Now, people are tracking what they are buying, and they keep using the term loosely that it's Trump buying these tokens. Now, I suspect if you went and sat in front of Trump and you said, what is Ondo? What does it do? You wouldn't know. If you said, what is ENA? What does it do? You wouldn't know. Okay, so it's someone else buying it, obviously, for him, as we know. But, it's all quite exciting that everybody tracks the wallet. So here we go. They bought 250,000 USDC of Ondo. And we noticed that Ondo started ripping. And this was one of the tokens I want to talk about today. So we know this is a BlackRock play. It's an RWA play. It's an absolute banger, Ondo. Okay, it's here to stay. It's a great narrative for us. And let's just take a look. I mean, it's actually been an amazing trade, this thing. It's been an absolute banger. But where are we now and what is the story? So just to recap, we haven't looked at Ondo in a couple of weeks yet, but we've now broken through major weekly resistance. This was our previous all-time high, 1.44 on the weekly. That is going to be reasonable support for us to use on the weekly. And we can see Ondo is in price discovery. How do we track a target for a token if it's in price discovery? Well, quite simply, you take your fibs from the previous highs to the lows and you bang out your 1618 and your 2618. Bang. Look at that. Look at that. And there it is. These are very reliable ways to track a token's target. That is why I've got that Bitcoin target there for you guys as well. And look at that. I mean, I didn't know that was going to do that. It's amazing. Okay, so 2.08. It is fucking magic. Oh, magic. 2.08 Ondo target number one hit. Ondo's next target, 3.06. So that is what we're going to be watching to the upside for Ondo. Reasonable support, 144. Now let's go. If you're a DJ, okay, and you're looking for some DJ action and you want a piece, you want a taste, okay, so here's Ondo on the 1 hour. Now we understand Ondo on the weekly, yes, looks super bullish. If you look at it reasonably, you would say, look, it makes sense to come some kind of pullback. But what happens in between? What if there's a little pump in between on Ondo? What if there's a little bit more action? So what you can do is look at Ondo. This is the 30-minute chart. I've gone pretty degen today. I've gone full Ray on you guys here. And we're just tracking it at the moment. And there's a couple of things you want to look at. If you're looking for a degen play, your first thing you want to track is, you can see we got a rising trend. Okay, so the trend is bullish. The trend is pushing higher. I've also got my quantum reactor on the 30 minutes. Look at that. That's turned green. That is pushing higher as well. And we can use the quantum reactor as support and resistance. You can see nice little mover here. Look at that. Resistance, resistance, resistance there. Then it was support. You can see how this quantum reactor operates here. Then what do we have? We've got an anchored VWAP from the lows. And we've got our 382 and horizontal. So if you're looking for a degen play, now this is risky business. Obviously, this is the degen stuff we're talking about. What you can do is you can look for some kind of entry here at 1.98, these types of zones there, bang. And then that trend break where you can start adding to things. So Ondo right now, 1.98 degen play. You can look for some kind of entry there. And once you break that trend, then you can add to that position. Alternatively, if this starts falling over a little bit harder, what you're going to look at is you're going to zoom out a little bit and you're going to see 1.88. that keeps our trend in play. You can see that beautiful trend stays in play there for us. And we do have horizontal confluence there and 618. So any dips into that zone could be a degen play there for you guys as well. Now, that is the risky stuff, but that's for the leverage guys. You guys know exactly who you are, and I'm catering for those savages out there. And we can see what we got going on here. I've opened an Ondo long in WEX at the moment. Then I took that AVAX long I dropped in Chart Hackers, and I took the CAS long that I dropped in Chart Hackers earlier today. So that's those are my 3 trades that I got running now on WEX. Remember, WEX is a no KYC exchange. They're one of my favorite degen exchanges, and you can grab WEX and all these things that I talk about under the show description. So just click on the show description, go under the show, and you can see all our stuff is here, including my accelerator school, including Chart Hackers, which is our trading group that we've got, and Ray and Chaos are in there, obviously DJ and Dave as well, and you can join us there. We'll tell you a bit more about that. And just everything you need is under here for you guys, including Bitfunder that I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes as well for you guys. Okay, so Ondo, you've got the setup there. Then let's talk Athena. Okay, now I've been calling this one for a few days. Okay, and I was telling you guys this thing's going to pump. I just knew this was going to be a popper. And now we can see Trump's World Liberty. They spent 500K USDC to buy more Athena. Okay, this was, when was this? On Sunday. Okay, that is why we had a pop in the price. We could see Athena was drifting down into a 618, and then bang, out of nowhere, it rips off a 618. So that's some bullish news on it there. Then we've got Ali Charts, also like quite a big trading account here at 99K. He's talking about Athena looking quite bullish for a target of 1.4. I agree. That is 1.4 is my target for Athena. And this is Seraphim, and he's talking about Athena Labs. And he said, just so implications are clear, prolonged negative funding environments do not affect Athena anymore. They can now allocate capital to its own RWAs in a bearish environment. Expecting blah, blah. Chaos, does that make fundamental guys happy?
It should do. And you know what's really good about Athena? Everybody that followed me into Athena a few months back, they're 120x.
Oh, stop it, Chaos.
Yeah,
stop it.
Gave that alpha. Gave that alpha.
Okay, let's talk Athena. Let's see where we are. So just to recap, guys, I gave you that trade last week. Now, I unfortunately cut a third of my trade. Right here, okay? They sweated me under that 618. My stop was under there. I cut a third of my position. Fortunately, still had some cooking there. And then we had a nice big pump out of this thing. So I didn't catch the whole size, which I was building all the way down. I started cutting there right at the end there before they pumped me. But we managed to stay in it. And if you do want some Athena action, I've got some degen levels now for you guys. So you can see what worked previously. We had our trend break. We had our retest 618. Okay, we didn't hold our VWAP. We didn't hold our quantum reactor. We had a short little dip down this weekend and that big sell-off. All those alts are sweating this weekend, but rocket off trend 618, bang. Okay, nice big move. And now we relook where we are, and we can see the 618 held previously. So that is a good sign. If we're going to stay in some kind of bullish trend here on Athena, we obviously want to see that one continue for us. And then a couple of key levels. If we are bullish on this thing, we are ideally looking for some buys on some key zones. And the most obvious key zone for me is going to be this 1.14 level. Now, right now, you can see we're reacting on a VWAP, we're reacting on a 382, and we are reacting on these horizontals on the 1 hour. But for me, the bigger zone for me has got to be this previous all-time high level over there. And you can see that's tied in with nice support. So interim support, yes, you can use this 1.18. You can play around with that, but don't be surprised if it dips into one of these zones here, down 1.14 to 1.09. Don't be surprised if it goes there. Okay, so if you're trading super high leverage and it dips into that zone, don't say I didn't warn you that it can go down to 1.14 to 1.09. These are both pretty bullish zones for us as well. And there's nothing wrong with a dip into that type of area. We can still remain pretty bullish on this thing. So levels you want to watch, 1.18, which is right here. We got a VWAP 382. Okay, fair enough. Then 1.14 to 1.09. Watch those areas there. And then we're looking for much higher on this thing. And how do we speculate as to where this can go? Well, let's bang out a couple of fibs again. And we can go previous highs down to the lows there, and you can look at things like that. Okay, so you're looking at, look at that again, Chaos. Look at that. That's insane. Look at that.
Magic. It's magic.
1.31, 1.6. Okay, and then obviously we've got the horizontals on the older chart at 1.4, which is one of our targets. Let's see if we got it here on this one. just a little bit higher. We've got a target at 1.4, okay? But you can see how this stuff works. Look at it. There's our 1.4 in that region over there. Okay, so things are looking decent from Athena's front. As long as we're holding these levels, we can remain bullish. We want to send this one higher. Obviously, some fib targets, some horizontal targets. It's all locked in there for you guys. And remember the drill. If we start losing these rising trends, yes, we start turning bearish and we look for longs lower down. Okay, simple game plan here. You don't want to hang on to something. When you're closing under a trend, you don't want to sweat in those positions. It can get very horrible very quickly. So make sure you're holding your trends, and then you are good. Then you are good to go. Okay, let's update 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏 Chaos. You had Phantom. You had with
Casper. Yeah.
Okay, we're coming, guys. It's all coming in hot. I wanted to update you guys on 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏. So as you can see, we had a nice dip this weekend into quite a hot zone. And just to recap where we were, let's actually see what we had here. It was our 382. Yes, we had a limit order here on the 382. That 382 pinged just above that zone there for me. So we added to that position on that 𝗙𝗩𝗑 trade, you can see. And now we've got key support. So 4.33 is our key support on 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏. Don't want to lose that one. And this was a trade idea I dropped in Chart Hackers today for anybody who is not sitting in 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏 at the moment. Where can you look for something relatively bullish? And I know you guys by now, you love an inverse head and shoulders maybe as much as I do. And for me, it makes sense. If we do get a little sell-off here in the market, looking for this play, 4.58, something like that, that would give our inverse head and shoulders. That's quite a bullish play for me for 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏. I'd love to see that hold. So if you're looking for an entry, 4.58, look in that zone. You can use that region as support as well, maybe just a little bit lower. Look at that guy there, 4.52. You can see those horizontals down into that region, and that will be actually just in the hacker zone there, up to the 0.65 fib. So watching 4.58 to 4.52. Those are going to be your hot zones there for 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏. Nice 𝗬𝗢𝗑𝗏 add on there as well. Could be a banger. Okay, so anyone missing 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏, I think that is going to be the play. Remember, all these charts that you see get dropped into Chart Hackers. I think Ray's probably doing it right now while we're talking. All these charts go straight into Chart Hackers. If you want a piece of that action, you know where to find it. Okay, let's go. Let's get out our next banger here, and that has got to be AVAX. Okay. No AVAX yet.
I can get AVAX.
No, I got it. I got a bit of AVAX here. So I want to give you guys my thoughts on AVAX. A couple of interesting ones. We were watching this for the last 3 or 4 days, and I was playing around with the fibs and the VWAPs earlier today, and then I banged out this quantum reactor, and it looked like we were getting a nice hot zone here for us at 48.3. That is why it made sense for the long there for hackers, and you can see why this makes sense. We've got horizontal supports in play for us at 48 for AVAX, makes perfect sense. VWAP, quantum reactor, and our 0.5 fib. So that looks nice on the 1 hour. Okay, so that looks good. You can see we got a reversal there on the 1 hour. That's lovely. So if we get that push higher, that's great. Short-term move up. Okay, so what I'm looking at here for AVAX on this current time frame, some kind of push into 51, and then we might have to reassess where we are. The reason being on AVAX is that some of the other time frames still look like they want to drift lower. Okay, they look like they need to come down. I don't know your view, Chaos. I know you don't have AVAX in front of you, but like when you see something like that, I don't know. What are your thoughts? It needs to come down, or can we reverse here?
I do, in fact, have it open, and I'll tell you why. You're welcome to bring me up. It's an absolute mess, by the way, but if you want to bring the screen up, by all means. I gave the guys in the Discord a range trade, actually. Now, I appreciate there's a lot on the screen, guys. Let me just get rid of this fib, look a bit clearer. So all it very simply was, the amount of times that we've come from the lower to the upper zone continuously, I basically gave, I think it was yesterday, Dill, I drew this line out, and I'm targeting this 18% move. There's a load of liquidity up here as well. It might very well fall short. But what we'll do in the Discord is we'll move our stop loss up as we go. I literally drew this yesterday here, and since then, obviously, we've come down a little bit. What I'd expect to probably see is a dip here and then the move. So actually, this makes perfect sense to me that we target this zone and pick up liquidity again. So that works.
Yeah, that's why I'm not that comfortable on a lot of these alts. We can see today, we identified there was a 1 hour reversal. I think we could see that coming, but a lot of these others, they look like there's potentially more downside. So what I just want to stress to everybody watching here is if you are in a couple of green longs, nothing wrong with some of them taking some profits. Maybe leave a few open that you can let run harder in case they break trend, in case they start ripping. Just be safe, because you might get a situation where we get a hard rejection on Bitcoin somewhere, and then these alts really reject and they reset the 8-hour, the 12-hour, the daily oscillators. And those resets are going to see things like AVAX 46. Okay, that's a possibility there for us. Even 42 could be on the table for us. So I just want to stress this. You can see we've got a downtrend. We've got big resistance here. I've got the upside VWAP in the way. So if we do get a push higher there, there's a good chance we get that reaction and we start getting something along these lines on AVAX. So just be careful. Once we pop the trend, yes, different game. We can turn a little bit more aggressive, and then we can trade to the range high that Chaos is talking about. That's going to be, say, 54 to 56, somewhere in that type of region. So anyone trading AVAX now, your support is 48.3. Use that area. You can see it's nice support. If we do lose it, 46.7, that's got to be the next bounce zone. It's got to be the next zone where you're going to get your reaction. And then the trend break is obviously where you can press. So if you want to hold onto your trade and you want to add to it, let it break trend, let it break that VWAP. Then you can start adding to the position up there somewhere. And then maybe you get that free ride into 56. So a little bit of caution. 48.3 support, 46.7 is your next support that you're going to be playing with. Okay, turning a little bit green there. Nice little push so far. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just raise my stop a little bit as well. Okay, we just want to de-risk a little bit as we go. Remember, when you start a trade, you have a certain stop. And then once it starts turning green, you want to de-risk yourself a little bit there. So I'm just moving that stop up a touch. And look, nice little mover so far. Ondo is finally doing something for us. Cass, Ray, you weren't happy with Cass earlier, but it's finally doing a little bit of things for us there. And
Finally. Let's go.
It sometimes takes a couple of minutes for these things to start working. You can't get it immediately. Okay, let's talk Cass. And I'm sure Chaos is chomping at the bit for some of this stuff. So Cass, it's a layer one. It's Chaos's, I don't know, your favorite project in the whole world, I guess.
Yeah.
And well, anyway, this is what we dropped on Hackers earlier today. I picked up a 1-hour reversal on my chart prime oscillator. There we go. And it started printing a green reversal sign. But, look, to be fair, the 4-hour, 8-hour, which Chaos is going to show you, 12-hour daily, do look a little bit better than some of the other alts. So we're going to talk about that in detail. But just to summarize this trade for you guys, why was this interesting for me? So, well, we've got our 100-day MA support. We've got our 50-day MA support. We've got our 0.5 fib support, and we've got our horizontal. So we understand this whole region over here is a support block that we can pay attention to. And then we got our 1-hour reversal print. So anybody trading Cass? Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been a banger performer lately, but there's a couple of things in the way. So right now, 152 is in the way. Then our next target for today is 157. And then the upside target, the full move for me, was going to be just under 17 is what I'm looking for there on Cass. Now, this was for a 1-hour reversal trade. Now, Chaos has got some interesting news for you guys. There might be a bigger push brewing for us on Cass. Can I bring up your chart there?
Yeah, sure.
There you
Sorry,
go.
guys.
Talk to me.
Excuse me. So basically, anyone in Chart Hackers Discord will see that I've been using this traffic light system. Green for the targets, and red essentially for the stops, and then yellows for like the neutral region where we're hanging. So what I've essentially done is I've zoomed out further than Dylan, who was on the 1 hour. Obviously, just taking you in a little bit, I'm on the 8-hour. So obviously there's an awful lot more data here. There's a lot more support here. We've spent a lot more time in this region, okay? And previous to this is a real big support area. So essentially we've pinged our way down into support. Now, what I'm looking for is confluence down here on the oscillator. I can see that cash flows come negative. And if we just look previously, let's find a good example of this. Cash flow comes negative. It works its way down. Then we come positive. If the market goes green, we get this where it pushes up. So what I'm essentially doing now is we're negative. We're looking to see some negative cash flow price action, as well as that, the RSI lines and the support lines and all the other directional lines, everything's kind of quite low. We're at this real sort of oversold region, and what I'm looking for now is a turn to the upside. I'd like to see cash flow make its turn to the upside. I'd like to see us bounce off this support region And what I'd essentially like to do is I'd like the quantum reactor here to actually come up into the zone for the price action to meet this and give us a proper bounce. And what I'm targeting is roughly a 20% move. Dylan said just below 1.7, which would be, excuse me, that's the wrong one. It would be roughly there, which is roughly a 16% move. So, you know, if you're on a 5x, it's a really banger trade, guys. And this alone, I mean, this is essentially a range that we've hit continuously. We keep coming back to. So if nothing else, we're just going to make our way to the top of the range again. But yeah, that looks good to me, Dill.
Okay, nice, bro. And then your support that you're using is 144. What do you got there?
The level is, I mean, realistically, the lowest part of these candles, roughly 1447.
Okay, 1447 is what Chaos has got. So there's a couple of ways you can skin these things. So you can see that 1447 really gives you some breathing room. That gives you space under the 100-day. It gives you space under the 50-day. That is somewhere in that type of region there. So if you close under that, then you know this thing's super bearish. Then the slightly more degen guys, you can run tighter stops, but then the danger is you get stopped, you get wicked out, and they send it back up. So look out for those things. But my current stop on CAS 147 is what I've got here at the moment, 147. So a close under 147 is an exit plan. Otherwise, a close under 144 is an exit plan. And then you've got the upside target. You guys know, you know what to do. And then once you break this trend, obviously, we can add aggressively. Okay, any retest here, you add to this thing. If you want to really accelerate that that gain there, you can start adding when you break some key levels here. And W Skittle says, smash the likes. Likes are only 30% of the viewers. Too much alpha. Too much free alpha, guys. Who's in the chats? Can we see? Thomas is in the chats talking bean. And we got Paul. He says, thanks, Carpet. Paul, what are you looking for? Paul says, injective protocol already talked about. We haven't touched injective yet. And 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗡𝗦 warning you guys. Cass is pushing into resistance. And 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗡𝗥 looking for a head short. Can we open a head short here? Ooh, look, we're going to have to look at some resistance bands first. I like the bigger zones. Firstly, let's see. And Maudi, I'm not ignoring you, bro. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Thoughts on 𝗬𝗓𝗡 underperforming? Well, I did give a long today. I gave a long setup in Hackers today on 𝗬𝗓𝗡. I'm just trying to see if I've got 𝗬𝗓𝗡 here in front of me for you guys. It was one of our trades we dropped earlier today. I don't. Unfortunately, Marty, we're not ignoring the comments, sir. We are here. We are here to serve you guys. You asked that quite a few times. Ninzo's talking about Doge, and 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗡𝗦 loves the quantum reactor. Guys, it sounds so fancy. And I see Matt says it sounds like Marvel reversal universe type shit. It does, doesn't it? It sounds pretty fucking wicked, isn't it? Okay, guys, let's get into. I got some meme coin things for you. Are you ready for some meme actions? Yeah, let's go. Oh, no, not memes yet. Phantom first. I've got a couple of things. Okay, here's the Phantom setup for you guys. Okay, so I just want to leave this here. I know Chaos has got Phantom, but we agree on the same level. So I don't want to harp on it too long. We know Phantom Sonic. Okay, that is going. It's live already. It's today. When is it?
Yeah.
It's today.
Yeah, I think Cronier's been speaking about it again, hasn't he? Yeah, is it today? So I think it's today, yes. It's coming.
Today, yeah. So look, the Sonic situation, there's two arguments here. One of them is that everything is priced in and you get some hell of a dump. And the other one is that this is only the beginning, okay, for Phantom. So I don't know what side of the fence you guys are sitting in. I know Phantom is an absolute banger. And I know from the weekly chart on Phantom, 1.65 is the ultimate target for this move. So how do we get there? Well, you know, there's a couple of ways you can play that. I've been scalping Phantom in and out. And now, look, waiting for another opportunity here. And I wanted to drop this entry for you guys. 1.3 looks like a hot zone for me. I've got horizontal 618 trend in play at 1.3. So if we do get that dip for me, Phantom 1.3, I think that's a decent risk reward play on Phantom. And then it's a super easy invalidation, because if we start losing that rising trend, we start losing that zone, then we know we're operating in our next areas on Phantom. Now we'll have to wait and see how this news plays out. But so far, so good. You know, it hasn't been a massive sell-off yet. We'll have to see if there's any particular announcements about it. But right now for me, 1.31, guys, that looks like a decent zone there for Phantom traders. Anything, anything higher than that is a little bit risky. So if you are trying to play up here, it's a little bit too risky there in those types of levels. I'm not saying it won't work, but 1.31, that's probably your best or your safer zone if you are looking for some kind of bounce long on Phantom. So target 1.6, 1.31 looks like a nice little entry spot there for me on Phantom. And then Link, well, I mean, Link's all over the news. I just wanted to touch on this one as well, because Link looked like earlier today it might actually start squeezing and pop a couple of levels here. So I'm having a go on Link on Bitfunded at the moment. Let's see how that's looking. But Blockchain Reporter says Link surged 22%, okay, driven by whales buying, growing investor confidence, expanding adoption across DeFi and blockchain. Now, we've seen DeFi pumping, Link pumping. The Aave chart actually on the 15-minute looks identical to the Link chart. It's uncanny what is going on there at the moment. And no, I suspect I'm getting rinsed now on Link. We've lost these levels. So if you do want to trade some Link, what I'm looking at here, this is Link on a degen play. So we can see what is going on here. Just a quick setup for you guys, and something to think about today. You can see we've got the squeezy type setup that I love. I love these types of moves into these zones where we get those pops. And that is what I was looking for earlier today. So sometimes, you know, we can speculate and we can start playing around these types of areas in case one of these moves is bullish, and then we get that pop. Then you can add to positions and you can do all those types of fun things along the way if you're ahead of the curve. So sometimes I try and get ahead of the game there and open some speculative positions. Right now, we're going to check the trade now. We'll see if it's still active. But Link traders, what you want to watch here. So ultimately, what I want to see is either a move back into this type of region, 28, 29, for that push back up there, then that pop, or alternatively, we want to bounce off one of these horizontals. Now, we know Link loves a 618. We know these altcoins love a 618. So if we get a medium-sized sell-off here on Link, you're going to look for a bounce at 29. So look for that, 29, then some kind of push up. Then we deal with that a little higher up. And then you've got your big support here. That's going to be a 786 horizontal and trend. And that is going to be around 28.6. So anything down to 28 even looks relatively bullish there for Link traders. That could be the beginning of a nice trade that you can start building a trade and then look for that big push through these horizontals a little bit later on. You want to blow this 30.7. Let's get through that. And then we can get a little bit more excited on Link. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit rinsed here on Link at the moment. And this is my Bitfunded. So remember, Bitfunded give you a demo account. You send them $79 or $100. You get a $5,000 and a $10,000 demo account. Then you get 8%, you get 5%, you pass those two. Then they send you real money that you trade with, and you keep 80 to 90% of the profit. So your risk is $79. Then you get a $5,000 demo account. If you pass that, it's $5,000 on 5x leverage. So theoretically, it's $25,000 worth of trading capital that has cost you $29. The $10,000 account is $50,000 of trading capital that has cost you $100. Okay, so you can pass that 8%, 5%, then you get the real money and you keep 80 to 90% of the profit. So this is what my current play is. GRT from last week. Those of you that were watching, still sitting in GRT, no changes, didn't get stopped out, just let it run. And then the speculative Link position that I've got going on right here at the moment. So looking for some action there. Remember, guys, everything I talk about is in the show description. Just go under the show there and you can click on all the links, all the exchanges, all these things that I'm using is under there for you guys. Okay, so Link, you've got the deal. Looking for that bounce, anything from 29 down to 28. And then once we pop 30.5, then we adding. We want to add to this Link position. We want to get aggressive. Okay? We want to send it. You know, we don't come here for a haircut. We want to send it hard. Okay, let's talk meme coins, because I know Chaos has got he's got some Myro for us as well. And Charlie just reminding us. And look, I think to be fair, we know as meme coin traders, you know, I love Brett, Peppy, Popcat. You know, I love all these animals, the whole zoo. They've not been the flavor of the month. We know that. Okay, and Charlie just reminding us when they reverse. Okay, and when they do, let's not lose. Let's not lose sense of reality here. These meme coins have paid us so well in the past, and they will continue to pay us. So just be patient with that stuff. And Altcoin Gordon just reminding us that Fartcoin hit an $850 million market cap. He says, Fartcoin, the biggest mistake you can make in crypto is trying to be smart. The man is not wrong. Just buy shit coins and don't think too much. That's pretty much the system. Okay, so let's look at Fartcoin on the 1 hour, and we can see. Degens, here we go. Here's some Fartcoin for you. If you want a bit of a pumper. Now, we know this is $850 million market cap. It's insanity. Can it go higher? Well, the market decides if it can go higher. You don't decide. I don't decide. The market just decides. So if there's hype, the market might want to send this thing. So if you want to play it safely, that is where I can help you. So if you want to do this safely, 766. That is going to be support that you're going to watch. That would be actually quite nice. A little double bottom there, something like that. Okay, 766, or alternatively 683. These are your numbers. And as soon as this loses that trend, then I think the bears are going to step in, and there's going to be a big short available. I think it's going to be quite a nice ride to the downside. And in fact, I think we need to start actively looking for the short on this fart coin. So upside plays 766, 683. That is what you're watching. If you want to trade that thing higher, that is your game plan. If you lose that rising trend, guys, it's over. Okay, it's loses that trend. This thing starts dumping, and then we're in trouble. Okay, so this thing can start moving pretty quickly to the downside. So just play safe. MG says Pendle trade is working. Of course, it's working. If you got it from the chart hackers, there's a very good probability it's working. Did you get it from DJ and Dave last night? Correct. Okay,
of course, it's working.
Absolute banger. No, that Pendle's a banger. And then a little bit of peanut news. So the owner of Peanut, the squirrel, or the ex-owner, because it's dead, he issued a cease and desist to Binance. So there's a bit of a fight over the use of his IP and stuff. So I thought, well, let's look at Peanut. And we've had quite a consistent seller here over the last 4-hour chart. So this is quite interesting to me. Somebody's clearly been exiting in quite a uniform little fashion here to the downside, but it might be getting ready for a reversal. So if anyone wants to trade a Peanut reversal, look at that. Okay, this is the 4-hour. I think we are getting close. Chaos.
I mean, look at that. Look at that cash flow, man. I like that. That looks really good. Yeah.
So excellent. What do we want to see here? We just want to see this cash flow reversal now.
You want to see that round off. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
And then go back. I mean, literally, look at that. I'm going to jump in this after the show. Just seeing that. That's awesome.
Guys, this is a spot play, okay? Or very low leverage play, but there's a trade here. Okay, there's a bounce trade coming. And the minute we get this reversal on Peanut, you're going to get something like that. You're going to get that red dot, or you're going to get the oversold, something along those lines. That is going to tell you that we are going to get a move. You can see that last pump was 44%. Okay, so that is why I'm saying this is more like a spot or very low leverage play. Look at that, 44% move in a couple of candles. Okay, so if it's going to come, what I want you guys to use is, okay, these levels here. Let's just get this long in place. Okay, so you got to spot, guys. Okay, spot play. Look how deep this can go. Okay, this could be a 15% stop loss. Okay, but your targets are 139.
Keep going.
155.
Keep going. That's it.
And 183.
That's the one. That is the one.
So these are your potential targets there for Peanut. Play it safe. You know what to do. Possible reversal coming here. Again, no guarantees, but we can see. Oscillator wants to reverse. Money flow might start reversing soon. We've got a horizontal level here. Anything down to 99. Anything down to 99 or $1, that's going to be your support you want to use. And then we're looking for that nice reversal. So even a little divergence there on the oscillator, but we are looking ultimately for something like that on Peanut. Okay, good luck with Peanut. And, this is how we feel some days, okay? Losing a $100 bill, not good. Losing $1,000 in a meme coin, the vibe. Okay, we all do that. But let's take a look. What else have we got here? Let's go. We've had a nice bounce on Whiff.
I was just going to say, bro, bring Whiff up real quick. Have you got it on your screen?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to show the guys what I gave this morning as well.
Did we both give a Whiff trade?
We both gave a very similar Whiff trade. I've given 3 separate TP levels.
Okay, let's see yours.
Yeah, I've got it on the screen now. So this morning, I think it was this morning, there's a lot happened today. Just we were down here somewhere essentially, and I gave the guys 2 alternatives, 2 sort of 56 region. I think I said in the end below here was 256. Since then we've obviously pushed up. Now it's not huge, but if we make our way to TP1, it's 20%, 30%, and 50%. I think these are all very much on the cards. The RSI completely supports that. And what I really like about this is this was the reason that I gave the trade. Here's your cash flow. This morning, it was flat. And now if you look at it, it's just started to face up. And that to me is an early sign that we're going to start heading up towards TP1. So I'm targeting this region of 3.19. And then that's all I'll do is I'll move my stop loss up as we go.
So 3.19. I mean, that's quite a big move you're looking at. So you confident this reversal is more than just a short-term 1 hour sort of
Listen, it's difficult to be confident with anything in this market. And the way that I negate big losses is very simple. You can see it's forming on the 1 hour, a solid green now, assuming that we get, I mean, look, all we've got to do is keep breaking price structure. We've got to break that level, then that level. The second we break this level and we start making our way up to 2.9, I'm just going to move my stop loss up to before we made the previous move to there. So, and then if we go again, I'll move my stop loss up here. And then if we go to this level, I'll just move my stop loss up here. And the idea is I'll just keep raising my stops until such time I get stopped out. That's a banger trade. Yeah.
Okay, so look, let's look at my current stop. So anybody who wants to look at this current situation, it's nice that without even talking, we both gave the chart hackers a very similar trade. So it's nice. We're picking up these moves together. One of my instructions to chart hackers today was starting a whiff position here, okay, where we were. Once we break that trend, I said adding aggressively. Okay, so if we start blowing this trend, you can see here's my whiff trade, and it's actually started taking off since I started the show. You can see it's 700 up now. Okay, it's starting to move. We just bought that. We bought the dip. Okay, we bought the dip into the hot zone. We bought the dip on the oscillator reversal, keeping it super simple. Told the hackers what we're doing when we're going long, and off she goes. So when we start breaking that trend, I'm going to start bringing that size up. We're going to bring that size up to about $30,000. We're going to add a little bit as we go, and the game plan is going to be, obviously, we want a strong push here, and then we want to hold that trend. So look, target wise, this was the target I gave. 3.42 was the max target. In between that, we know, like Chaos is saying, there's a couple of things in the way. 2.95 50-day MA, I've got 3.15, I've got VWAPs in the way as well, and then we've got those highs, which I think will be quite pleasant if we can push up to those regions. And then my stop loss 2.61, close under 2.61, and then that is an exit plan. And again, anybody who's missed this trade, now if you're watching the show a little bit later, for example, and you want to understand how can you play this, well, what I think typically could happen here, this is our 50-day moving average, so this is what you want to look out for. Okay, pump into the 50-day MA 3, look for that rejection, and then you're going to look for buys. 2.8, 2.9, you want to look for buys around there. Okay, so that's going to be your secondary trade. So anyone who watching this one late now, 2.61, support number 1. Alternatively, look for that pump, look for the rejection at 3. Then you want to buy off that rejection at 3. And Wagon Short says last chance on whiff. And he's in the trade. Okay, he's in the trade. NZ Danny, which tokens did you get today in Chart Hackers? What did you guys get? And whose trades did you get? I want to know whose trades you guys took. Okay, let's go. Just bigger picture whiff for you guys. I just want to drop this because I did speak about this. I did start showing this chart. Bigger picture whiff traders. Let's not lose sight of the fact on the daily, we do have major resistance ahead of us. Okay, we do have a big problem ahead of us here at the 3 level. We can see that on this chart. So that is 50-day plus horizontal. So that is why we can expect a rejection at 3 on that chart over there. That ties in perfectly with the daily resistance 50-day MA. When we break through that, we start turning bullish again for higher levels, and then we're looking at that 344 that we spoke about on that lower time frame chart. And then we naturally just want to see 2.9 to 3 hold as support. If it does, then we're good. Okay, if it does, then we are cooking. Okay, let's go. What have I got? Peppy. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, there's a lot, isn't there?
Fuck, it's beautiful.
Look at that candle. Look at that candle.
Austin, I've got bread, bro. I've got bread. It's coming up next, bro. Okay, Peppy, guys. Again, hard levels hit. 228 was a big zone. Anchored VWAP, horizontal, 228. Reaction zone. Very simple reaction zone for us. Now, if you're trading Peppy, 228, that is your support. We can't go back in time now and push the price back down. Unfortunately, this is now popped since we started the show, but this was on the hit list for you guys. Okay, so I wanted you guys to get this trade with us, and now this thing is ripping. So unfortunately, we are now behind the curve. If you're not in Peppy already, you're going to need to now start playing trend breaks. Now, this is where things get a little bit tricky for you. So let's see how we can do this one. Okay, take a fib, high to the low. Let's look for our rejection zones. And how do you play this safely as a DGen? How do you play this? Well, your first support is 228. We know that. Okay, watch that. Alternatively, if you pop this trend, you got to just be careful up here. because if we do reject it at 618, you're most likely coming back before it goes back, before it goes continues higher. Now, we can't say for sure that it comes back, but most likely that is going to be your safest place. So if you miss this trade, let the trend break. Then you want to see 242 as your support, 242 as your support. Then you can look for that push to the upside, and your target is going to be to take out these wicks. That is what you're going to want to see. So 27, 28, those type of levels, that's going to be your upside target there on Pepe. We're running out of time here, Chaos. Oh, look at this bonk as well. Okay, bonk traders, let's go quickly take you through this. Bonk traders, upside target. Okay, listen closely here, because if we can't get too euphoric until we break big levels, upside target bonk traders 408. Look out for a rejection there. 408. Support is 346. 346 is your support. So if you are trading bonk, you can use 346 as your exit plan. Once you blow through the 50-day moving average, you can use 367 as your stop loss. So wait for a close above the 50-day MA, then you can use 367 as your stop loss. So bonk traders, upside, you've got 407, 408, 41, that type of level. To the upside, 346 is support. Close above on the 1 hour, close above 50-day MA, and you can use 367 as your stop loss. Okay, hopefully that helps you guys. Then let's talk Brett. And it's not in my zone yet, guys. So, I am sitting in Brett, as you know, but it's in no man's land for me. So there's my Brett long. You can see Brett long 48K at the moment. It's not in my new buy zone. So I'm not ready to add onto that Brett trade just yet. It might just rip without us. That's also okay. We will have to play the trend break and start adding. But for Brett traders, this might come back later. So let's not forget. Mark this on your charts. Just because there's a small pump in the market doesn't mean we're not going to get an entry here on Brett later on. So 0154 to 015, that is a long zone for me. 0154 to 015, that is a long zone for me on Brett. You can see I've got the 50-day MA, I've got the 618, I've got the horizontals, I've got the quantum reactor from Marvel, or whatever he calls it, holding up support. So 154 to 15 is your support. And then I want to leave you guys with one last thing, okay? Very important to note this stuff. Okay, this is 𝗬𝗧, and this is a great chart example for you on how let's not get too euphoric too quickly, because stranger things happen in crypto. So this is 𝗬𝗧 on the daily, and I just want to give you a picture. You can see 𝗬𝗧 on the daily is sitting on 534. It's sitting on a 618. It's sitting on trend. It's sitting on horizontal. It's sitting on a reaction zone. So we know on the 1 hour, we know that, okay? We've got our reversal in play. Look at that. And look at that. We're printing our reversal. So anyone trading 𝗬𝗧, if you long here, your support that you can use is 534. Okay, and that's what you're looking at. But then let's go back to the 12-hour. In fact, let's go to the daily. And I just want to show you something. So when we use the daily oscillator, sometimes these dailies can dip into the lows, and then they have another dip. But remember, the second dip on a daily, because it's a daily, it can be quite brutal. It can be quite big. And you guys just need to be aware. Just because the oscillator is telling you there's a reversal coming doesn't guarantee that there's not some more downside, just before or just after. So I just want to show you this example here. The oscillator bottomed out on the daily. That was in that region over there. And we had a short-term pump, and then we had a massive dump again to the downside. Then we had this example here. We printed the green dot, okay, in that area there, a short-term pump, and then a massive sell-off again. So I just want you guys to see this. Here's another one here. Reversal first, and then the dump, and then the real move comes. Okay, we look for the divergence. We look for those things. Another example, stochastic RSI. This one, the daily is at the bottom. But what happened last time the daily hit the bottom? Look at that. We dumped. Okay, then it hit the bottom again. What happened? We dumped again. We hit the bottom here with the oscillator, the stochastic RSI. We dumped again. So I just want to point this out. That is why I'm saying, I don't want to say we are out of the woods here and we up only when we see these things. Now, we can use the information from the past to help us, guide us as to how we behave in the future. And I just want to drop that there for you guys, just to show you that, it might not, there might still be some downside. So if there is 𝗬𝗧, for example, 534, 476, 412, those are your levels. It might hit all of these levels before those dailies reverse. And then when those dailies reverse, it's going to be a massive move to the upside. Okay, so I just want to plant that there. And again, we've run out of time. Chaos, thank you for joining us. I know you weren't feeling well.
Cheers,
Captain.
bro. Thank you.
You can catch him in Chart Hackers. Okay. Thank you, sir. Raymond, thank you. Thank you, Captain. See you later. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here.
He's there.
I'm here.
Okay, guys, so you got the impression. Short-term bounce looks nice. I don't want to get too euphoric personally. Some of the oscillators look like a little bit of downside. Sol is a good example. 222. Let's break through that. Find support 222. Then we start looking higher. So just play safe for now. Remember, a 1 hour reversal in the bigger picture means nothing. Okay, we want to see the daily, the 8 hour, the 12 hour reversal start playing out. Those are the big money printers for us. Right now, small stuff. Okay, little bounces. Guys, great. And Balo says he's closing his tower. Bro, don't close your tower. I'm just showing you what's going on out there. You know, I'm just giving you guys a perspective as to what is happening. Okay, I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Banter Plus tomorrow. Later.
I'm getting wrecked over here during the show.